In this video, I will explain the cause of ENS because before finding solution, it is necessary to understand the problem correctly. Empty nose syndrome can be caused by a partial or a complete cut of the inferior or middle turbinates. It can even be caused by a burn of the mucosa. The cut causes a loss of volume, that's to say an increase in emptiness and a reduction in the mucosa surface. The burn affects negatively the health of the mucosa. All of this has many effects. The increase in emptiness causes a modification in the distribution of the airflow. Most of the airflow is redirected in the middle meatus in case of an inferior turbinectomy. You can see it here. The airflow passes principally through the medial meatus in case of ENS. The increase in emptiness also causes an increase in the cross-sectional area. The cross-sectional area is the surface of the emptiness in the cut view. You can see here in orange. Indeed, when the surgeon cuts the turbinate, the cross-sectional area increases, here in black. The increase of the cross-sectional area reduces the velocity of the airflow. Indeed, the velocity is equal to the flow divided by the section. If you increase the section, you decrease the velocity for the same flow. The normal flow when you are at rest is around 15 liters per minute. The decrease of the airflow affects negatively the wall shear stress. Less wall shear stress means less evaporation of the mucus due to the airflow passage, which leads to less cooling effect of the mucosa. Indeed, the change of the mucus from liquid state to gaseous state leads to energy consumption, which cools the mucosa. And it is this cooling that detects the TRPM8 receptor and gives us the feeling of the airflow. The increase in cross-sectional area also reduces nasal resistance. The reduction in the mucosa surface causes a reduction in the number of TRPM8 receptors simply because the receptors are in the mucosa, and the fewer mucosa there are, the fewer receptors there are. A reduction of the production of mucus because it is the same thing, the glands that produce mucus are found in the mucosa. A reduction in the number of blood vessels, which can decrease the temperature of the mucosa, simply because the mucosa is kept at the right temperature thanks to the blood flow. The cut of the turbinate also disturbs the nasal cycle because a large part of the turbinates has disappeared. The nasal cycle is a phenomenon that consists of vasodilatation of the turbinate on one side and then the other over a cycle of few hours. You can see here, for example, that this turbinate is smaller than the other. It is due to the nasal cycle. However, it seems that the utility of the nasal cycle is still unknown. But the phenomenon of vasodilatation, vasoconstriction, has another very important role, which is to adapt the cross-sectional area according to physical activity. Indeed, during physical activity, the airflow increases in response to this. The turbinate decreases in volume via the phenomenon of vasoconstriction. I designed a little diagram to summarize the mechanism of empty nose syndrome. The increase of cross-sectional area decreases the washer stress. The mucus production is reduced due to the decreasing of the mucosa surface and often an alteration of the health of the mucosa. These two things lead to less evaporation of the mucus, which leads to less cooling effect due to the changing state of the water. It decreases the activation of the TRPM8 receptor and finally reduces the airflow sensation. Also, the reduction of the mucosa surface leads to less TRPM8 receptor and finally less airflow sensation. The diminution of the airflow sensation decreases the respiratory command drive and can create central apnea hypopnea during sleep. The diminution of the airflow sensation can also create the well-known sensation of suffocation. You can find all the references in the article this video is based on. The link is in the description. See you in the next video. Bye!